All right, real quick, you want to give... We were talking about Israel Potter, because we had to put him first, because he's Israel Potter, right? Yeah. But the other guy you had mentioned, and these are contemporary, or not contemporaries, but they were mentioned in the Marley book, the William Marley book. Who is the other guy? John?
They were mentioned in the footnotes by the academics, although they weren't from Marley's period.
Right, okay.
Marley had been dead for 20 years by the time these guys have their adventures and write about it. John Harrower is an older man in his 40s. Him and his wife both descended from minor noble houses in Shetland, Scotland.
Oh, that's up there. That's way up there.
Right.
And Viking.
He's about to fall in debt, so he goes looking for ways to make money. He is a minor merchant, the nobility, as was Marley's father, the nobility. Some of them has fallen into lower merchanthood.
Yeah.
He's trying to sell socks because the Shetland socks are, people really like them, they're great. He can't even get the amount of money that he paid for them. Ship's captains are having trouble shipping out because of bad weather in Holland and England and Scotland.
North Sea.
He's sailing around different places. He's very helpful. He knows navigation. He's a bookkeeper. He's very helpful to ship's captains. So a number of captains actually ship him for free to different places with his sea chest, looking for places where he can sell socks, and they give him as much help as they can. And they don't try to sell him or anything.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
they really
Isn't
want.
that nice?
You know, this guy was, he was one of their guys. He could read and write. He could read and write better than the captains.
Right.
And some of these guys had moved up in the world and they were only semi-literate, so he would do their astronomical and weather notations for them and everything in their logs. And by the time he gets to London, it's apparent that he's going to have to sell himself into service, because he's not even going to be able to get back to Scotland without falling into debt. And if he does, he's going to show up with nothing.
Yeah.
And his wife and children, and they have a servant at home,
Right.
are not doing well. He's afraid his children, while he's away, his wife ends up selling that family house. They move into a house with a dirt floor, and she dies there. But she apparently dies after he mysteriously disappears.
Oh.
There are a number of letters from him to her, and you can infer her letters to him through these. He ships out of his home in 73. He ends up getting to America in 74.
Okay, it's just before the war.
And he is very well taken care of by the ship's captain, and he's very honest about the good things and the bad things about the captain, like the captain illegally burying a dead body in the woods in Virginia without marking the grave. Okay,
It happens.
You know, that type of thing. The torture of one of the Scottish servants who got drunk and cussed out the captain.
Yeah, well,
so
you
they
know
put
what?
the thumb screws on him.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
don't open your mouth. Son.
So a Colonel Dangerfield buys his service for 4 years, and this guy is like the best master you could want.
All right.
John Harrower is he's the backup overseer. When the various overseers, the poor white dudes, end up cussing out Colonel Dangerfield because Colonel Dangerfield is blaming them for what the African American slaves didn't do. Okay, then John takes over, and he acts as a backup overseer. He plants his own garden. He's very excited about how fertile the earth is. He wants to bring his family over. He's saving up money so that he's got a stake so he could start something. But he describes, and he makes side money because he's got a schoolhouse. The colonel is feeding him, is putting him up in a little cottage on the banks of the Rappahannock River, and invites him to every dinner and the party. Even directs him to whip his son when his son Billy gets out of line, which makes an enemy of Mrs. Dangerfield. Okay.
Why doesn't she know her place, man?
So he has a schoolhouse that he lives in, and other men from Colonel Dangerfield has increased status in the area because he has a school teacher. and other planters in the area send their children to be taught by him. So he can take this money and he can use it, and he's using it to buy cotton, to plant cotton, and to pay an African-American woman to spin the cotton.
Oh.
Okay, he pays her to do this, and she's married to a plantation owner.
Oh.
The
what state was this?
This was in Virginia. It was right on the Rappahannock River, and you get a lot of information about the build-up to the American Revolution, because Colonel Dangerfield is not a military man. He's a logistics man. He's involved in feeding even the rebels in Boston by shipping them out corn and stuff. So this this diary was discovered in the 1800s in an attic in Virginia, and it was sent by a librarian in Virginia, the Virginia Historic Society, to the Scottish Historical Society, who researched their end of it.
Okay.
And they provided some footnotes in there that I was able to use. And the journal ends abruptly in November of 1776, right after two different battalions of soldiers, rebel soldiers, have rotated in to the Fredericksburg area, and John described himself as going into Fredericksburg to hunt money. And this was like him, because he was in the clothing business.
Right.
He was buying materials to complete his clothing business. He describes the different types of buttons he buys and everything. And he's going to fabricate these clothes and sell them to get enough money so that he can have his wife and children shipped over. Right. But none of that ends up happening. War seems to have intruded in some way.
Yeah, when the diary ends abruptly, you usually know what that means. Game over.
Could have been a horse accident. He could have got sick. There was recently the population of the area he was in was doubled due to men coming in from other states in like cold and flu season. And he was older. He was like 45 at this time.
Yeah, I mean, everyone forgets, even up until the World War, half your guys are dying, coughing their lungs out from the flu.
But it's a historical loose end, and I am writing a series of time travel novels, so I have a job for John Harrower.
All right. Well, hopefully he may. There would be, you can give him a happier ending.
I won't kill him again. I promise.
Yeah,
I promise that.
Yeah. All right, man. So you see this, you see the creative process at work through the research, man. All right. Cool.